Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make these bodies of this dress. So I'm making this for a client, but you can add like a pencil skirt to yours, and you can add like a girder to it, whatever you want to make. But the main purpose of this video is just to show you guys the upper part of this bodies. So guys, the first thing you're going to do is to get your pattern, and then you're going to rule your line. So you're going to rule like half an inch at the top for your seam allowance of the shoulder, and then you're going to measure from that, after that half an inch that you've measured, and then you're going to insert your half length. So from that, after that point, I'm going to insert my half length. So my half length is 17. After that 17, I ruled another half an inch at the end from my half an inch of joining the bottom part to whatever I decide to put. It can be a short for a jumper, like a jumpsuit. But the half an inch at the shoulder is to join the top part of the shoulder sleeve together. The half an inch at the bottom is to join the bottom part of anything, a girder, a pencil skirt, anything to the bottom part. So guys, after that, the next thing you're going to do is to insert your shoulder measurement divided by 2. So for me, the shoulder I'm working with is going to be about 8 inches. 16 inches divided by 2, that's going to be 8. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that here. And then after that, I'm going to come down on this line by like 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And then I'm going to come in here, mark my 3 inches for my neckline, right? And then I'm going to connect that 1 inch of shoulder slope to this point, to that half an inch here. And then after that, I'm going to mark another extra half an inch on top of it just for seam allowance. So you see, that's the reason why I have this additional half an inch at the top. So guys, with this done now, the next thing we have to do is, I'll tell you guys what this line stands for. So the line, the first line you're seeing here is 6.5, at 6.5, because this is where my tube part of this top is going to start, right? So the tube part, that part that cuts up at the top of the bust, wherever you want yours to be, it can be 7 inches. If you want it lower, it can be 6 inches. So mine is going to be 7 inches, but because I need half an inch at the top, I just made it 6.5, because remember, I'll still use seam allowance when I'm going to sew the top part of it, right? So that's why when I go to sew the tube part, because remember, this top has a shoulder, and then it also has a tube cutting off and coming down. So the half an inch I'll need to join that tube part that goes to the side is this. Is why I marked this line as 6.5. So this is going to be my neckline. And then after that, there's another line here, which is going to be your chest line. So from your shoulder to your bust line, that's where this is. For me, that's 10.5. And then after that, you have your under bust, which is 14 inches for me. And then after that, I have my waist at 17 inches. So the line I have here is this first line. The next one is 6.5. The next one is 10.5 at my breast line, and then the one under bust, and then the waistline. Then there's another half an inch. So now that we've talked about this line, the next thing I have to do is to come down here on this line here. It depends on you. I'm going to do 3 inches for me. I'm going to mark 3 inches here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is on this shoulder line, I'm also going to mark 3 inches on this shoulder slope. That's starting from this line where my shoulder slope is. I'm going to mark 3 inches. This is going to be also for my sleeve. I'm going to connect the two of them together, just like that. So guys, you see, now I have the neckline. I have that part that cuts off. I'm also going to insert about 3 inches of neckline here. It depends on you what you want the neckline part to be. And then I'm going to connect it just this way. So 3 inches by 3 inches is the first neckline I have here. 3 inches of width, 3 inches of length. Connected it. Now I have my basic neckline. So guys, now the next thing you have to do is to measure your nipple to nipple. So from one distance of the nipple to the other, and then whatever you get. So for me, I got 4 inches because my nipple distance is 8 inches. And then I'm going to add extra 1.5 to it. So that's going to give me about 5.5 inches. I'm going to mark that here. I'm also going to mark that down here. I'm going to mark that down here all the way to the end so that I can get a straight line. Guys, remember, this is trying to mix up a shoulder dart and a princess dart together so that we can get this dart here. So I'm going to go now and connect these lines together. So guys, after connecting it, the next thing you're going to do, if you're more on the smaller size, you can do 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side for your darting at the top, like how we do on a preset, on a tube top. But if you're more on the on slightly larger side because this bust is 42. So I'm going to do about 1.25 on each side. So I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm also going to mark that here. And then guys, after marking it, so this is the line I'm working with, and then this is the line I'm working with. After marking that here, I'm going to come down here and mark the same measurement down here, and then I'm also going to mark it on this other side too. After that, you're going to do, you can bring down that measurement here, or you can just do 1 inch down here. You can just do the same measurement all the way to the end on this line and on this line, but you're not doing any measurement on this breast point because here is where you're going to meet all of them together. So guys, after that, now I'm going to go up 1 inch above this line and then 1 inch below this line, and just like that, I'm going to connect from here to here. I'm going to connect these two together, and then I'm also going to connect these two together. And then after that, you can use your curve ruler, use it to connect this one here to this point like a curve, and then use that same curve ruler to connect from this point to this point. So guys, you see what I did here? I have my center line, which I made this straight line in the center by adding 1.5 to whatever your nipple to nipple distance is. After marking that straight line on my top line, which is that top line here, like I said, if you're on the smaller side, do 1 inch on both sides. From the center line, this was the center line, you can do 1 inch here, 1 inch here. If you're on the bigger side, you can do even up to 1.5, or you can do 1.25, which is what I did here because the bust here is 42. And then after that, I came up 1 inch above and 1 inch below because I don't want to connect the two nipple to nipple down to this point, because this is where the nipple is. If I cut it up to this point, I might have a very sharp pointy nipple, so I have to go above 1 point and then above below 1 point when I go to blend in this line into this point and blend this one into this point. But if you have a curve ruler and you think you can blend it sharp and avoid having a point here, then you can go ahead and do that, but I like to do this way. And then after that, I connected it to this 1 inch above, and then connected this one here just the same way I connected this one, connected this down to this straight line. That's basically it for now. So guys, the next thing that we are going to do is just to insert all our measurements. Now this is done, and then after that, I'm going to, so to deal with the armhole, what I'm going to do is just from this point of my armhole, remember we came down 1 inch from this point here. This was our line of the 1 inch, because this is going to be a tube top on the side. You can't use your armhole divided by 2, because if I use my armhole divided by 2, that's going to be 9, and 9 is somewhere here. How am I? Is too low. That means some part of my outside boob will show. So if you see how her own is, you know that it's not the bust line that they use. They brought it up 1 inch from where your armhole is supposed to be. So I'm going to do 8 inches, right? So whatever you divide to be your armhole, round your armhole that you normally use to draw in like this and have your basic bodies. Guys, what I'm saying is, you see how this falls in now? That 1 inch, it's 99 inches that I normally use to draw my armhole. I'm just going to come up 1 inch. So instead of doing 9 inches down here, I came up 1 inch. So that's going to be 8 inches for my armhole, because my armhole is normally like divided by 2 is going to give me 9. So but instead of doing that, I came up by 1 inch. So I'm going to be doing about 8 inches down here. So guys, after that, the next thing you're going to do now is just to insert. I'm going to insert my bust measurement, which I'm working with is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. Mark that here. But guys, you're going to replace this measurement that you took here, so that's 2.5 for me. I'm going to insert that back. And then you also need to add your seam allowance. So I'm going to do like 1.5 of seam allowance, but basic is like you do 2 inches of seam allowance. Don't do 1.5. But I don't normally use a lot of fabric when I'm sewing, so that's why I like to use like 1.5 instead of doing 2 inches. But normally what you're going to do is whatever you took away from here, after inserting your basic measurement, put that back and then put extra 2 inches. And then I'm going to come down to the waistline, do the same thing. Whatever my waist measurement is, which is 34 divided by 4 is going to give me 8.5. Take whatever I have here, which is 2 inches, put it back, and then I'm also going to insert back that another 2 inches of seam allowance, just like that. And then I'm going to connect from here to here, just like that. You're going to insert from this point now to this point. But guys, before that, remember we still have to settle this armhole part. So what I'm going to do now is this armhole is going to fall in somewhere here on this line, because that was where the 8 inches was, right? It's supposed to fall in somewhere here. This is where my armhole is supposed to be, right? I came up 1 inch instead of the 9 inches I was supposed to use. I came up 1 inch. So what you're going to do is you're going to blend this in, blend it in this way. So you're going to bring this down from this point to here. If you have a curved ruler, that's better. Just blend it into this line, just like that. So that's basically what my bodice is going to look like. The reason why you have to bring this down is because one thing you don't want to do is to use a straight line like this. If you use this chest line, 6 inches from my shoulder, guys, see, if I measure from my shoulder here to 6 inches, see, if I measure from my shoulder now to 6 inches and decide to use, I don't know if this is 6 inches, but let's say this is where the 6 inches is, and I decide to use this as my round to go to the back of my armhole, it's going to cut off here because my arm is still here, so it's too low. You always have to insert back what your armhole is on this tube top, so that's why you have to bring it down. If you use this line, it's going to jam your shoulder. There's no way this is going to be your armhole, so bring it down so that it can fit into your armhole and hold it. So this is what we are working with now. So guys, our bodice is done, so now we're just going to cut it out. So guys, this is it here. So this is going to be my center front, right? My front is this here, the center of my top. So guys, now I'm going to cut from here. So guys, you see what I was saying? So I've cut this out. So first I started with the shoulder slope, cut the shoulder slope up, cut this angle out, cut down to my armhole, cut this side out. So this is the main body of our clothes now. Remember, this center part is going to be on a fold, right? So now what we are going to do is to cut our bodies just like how you normally cut for a princess doll. Guys, if you're a beginner, please try to use your, this is just because I'm drafting a pattern for you guys, but the best thing to use when doing this is your curved ruler, so that once you put it from this point to this point, you're going to angle it, and then you place it again around this way. From this point, you will have a very neat pattern. And the same thing for this under bust part. Once you put your ruler from here to here, you get your pattern. Here to here, you get like a very nice curve without mistake. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go in here and cut this part out, and then just go from here all the way to the top. So guys, this angle part is going to be cut off, right? Hope you know this here is not going to be any part of this. This is out. Let me cut it out. So, and also the same thing goes for this one here. It's going to be cut off. So guys, now you see, now that I've done that, you see what my bodice is going to look like. So let me cut also the neckline, these 3 inches of neckline here. So guys, just all I have to do now is just to take this one here. This is my shoulder, and then I'm going to take this, cut 2 of these, but 1 of these on a fold. The fabric is going to be on a fold on this straight angle part, and then I'm going to take it and then place it this way. So you see, this one is going to connect like this, join to this part, and then I'm going to have like a bustier here. You see, that's what I'm going to have here. But guys, I'm going to still cut this pattern and use it, but let's go over to the back. So guys, this is for the back. All you need is just your basic bodice pattern for the back. You see, I have that here. So guys, what you're going to do now for the back is to determine with the front. Remember, we use the same 6 inches for the back, for the front. So I'm going to measure from this tip here up to that 6 inches. We did 6.5, sorry, so that was somewhere here. And then I'm going to rule a line across just to mark that 6.5 inches, right, which is somewhere here. So guys, but remember, for the armhole, what we did was to come down after the shoulder slope. We came down by about 8 inches, right, which is here, instead of the normal 9 inches, which is supposed to be my armhole, because my armhole is 18 divided by 2. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do now is just to mark about the same 3 inches I used in front. Mark it here. On the shoulder slope, I'm also going to mark 3 inches here, and then I'm going to connect the 2 of them together. And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is from that point now, I'm going to connect it into my armhole, because my bust measurement here, what I did is just to divide it by 4. and then add extra 1.5 of seam allowance. My waist divided by 4, added extra 2.5 of seam allowance because I needed half an inch on each side for this darting, and then 1 inch on the side. So guys, after that, now I'm going to connect the two together. So this here is just going to be my back bodice. So this is what my back is going to look like. I'm going to cut this part out all the way to the top. So guys, this is my back panel, right? This is going to be my back panel. So I'm going to cut off the excess so that I have my side seam allowance here. And then the next thing you're going to do is, like we always do, go up by 1 inch at the back, right? So I'm going to go up 1 inch. So guys, I'm going to go up 1 inch at the back here now. This is just so that whatever you're adding, it will balance better at this back. So go up 1 inch here, and then I'm going to blend it into the side seam. This helps my zip to relax better. So you can add a pencil skirt, like I said, to this. You can add anything at this here. You can add a gathered bottom and make it like a gathered skirt with the top. You can add a short to it and turn it into a jumper with these bodies. All you have to do is just to remember to put in your dart here. You're going to be cutting 2 pieces of this, and then just like I said, how you're going to cut these 2 pieces of this plus the zipper allowance, and then you have this one which is going to be cut on a fold. You see, so all I have to do is just to join this to the shoulder, and you see my shoulder fits perfectly. And if there's another one to this side now, if I have the second part of this now, it opens up. Like if I cut this on a fold now, it's going to open up once I place it this way to the other side, and then this bodice here is going to be on this side. So that's basically the method of making this pattern here. So guys, in the next video, you will see me using this pattern here to make something. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please stay tuned for the next one. Bye.